Hi viewers, I'm Tara Christine, also known as a Flawed Broad, and today I am coming at you flawed and honest because I am a recovering angerholic, or maybe a recovering rageaholic, I could even say. I have spent a lot of my life in rages. I raged a lot. I had a lot of temper tantrums, if you will. I had my mindset on a lot of ways I wanted things to be and had some very high expectations, especially of the men in my life. And when that did not go my way, you never really knew what you were going to get. It could be the silent treatment, it could be some stalking, some suspicion, some contacting of other people. You just really never knew. And it was rational in my brain because I really felt that I was worthy of all these things that I requested, or more like demanded, by my behavior when it wasn't my way. So, the bottom line is that I'm here today to tell you that I have overcome my anger. I have overcome the response of acting out, lashing out, screaming, being as cruel or venomous as possible to hurt the other person and get the upper hand. I was good at that and I knew it, and I used that to my advantage often. I have said some of the most hurtful things to some of the people that I love the most in this world, and I can't take that back. It's a hard one for me. Horrible things have been said to me by people that I love, and I know what that is like. But this is where forgiveness comes in, and that is a huge thing in my life these days. My lifestyle sort of revolves around forgiveness because nobody can act right all the time. Nobody can act right half the time, even. Seriously, we get pretty wrapped up in our own stuff sometimes and don't often notice what's going on around us, or how what we may be doing or saying could be affecting those around us. It's a bit of a blind bubble that we get ourselves into sometimes. So again, I just wanted to be honest with you about who I used to be, or fundamentally, maybe deep down, who I still can be at times. I will be honest with you. There are moments that I've had in this past year that I harbor a little guilt over still, reacting in ways maybe toward my teenage daughter in frustration, because that is a hard relationship to maintain at this stage. I can have a difficult time maybe getting through, or things can just get pretty heated sometimes, and I don't always have perfect control over it when it boils up. Now and again, I will still throw something. I have kept holes in my walls to this day that I have to look at on obviously a regular basis and remember how I was, the way that I operated, and I don't want to be that person anymore. So I have yet to completely patch them up and fix them and make them disappear, because it's been over a year and I still want this very large. Actually, why don't I just show you? So it's hiding behind the flowers over there. And we have a very large hole that my knee put in the wall as I walked by. I just was mad and I lashed out, and one hard woof put a hole in the wall. There's another one from a different time. Those both are major blemishes in my cute little living room, but I leave them there because I did that, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that anymore, okay? I can sit here and say, well, he did that, or said that, or she did, and put all the blame on other people in their actions or behaviors, but Ultimately, it is on me. I don't have to react at the things that they say. I can't control any of that. That's not that's not my job. My job is to control me. Now that I really get that, I really understand 1000% that nothing I say or do is forcing anybody else to act or do things. Nothing that anybody else is saying or doing can force me to respond in certain ways. Only I have control of that. Only I have control of me, and that is what I need to be paying attention to. It was a hard lesson to learn. It took me a very long time and the scenic tour, let me tell you, and I left a lot of destruction in my wake. Which I also sought out destruction in other people. So it was two-way streets. You know, my pain fed off their pain, and we all reacted and only wanted to be heard. Nobody would listen to the other person. Things got hairy for a while, and stressful and frustrating and high anxiety, and life was tough. And then, you know, when the kids were around, you think they can't tell the tension, and you think that maybe they don't hear an argument now and again. Obviously they do. They're so smart. And so these are all the things I look back on and think, dang, you've got it so together now, and you don't react, and you are aware of the reasons that people are doing and saying the things that they do. That is clear pain on their part all day long. I have to understand that they're going through something. Why am I automatically going to turn it around and say, oh my gosh, they just said these couple words that mean this, and like, they don't even matter. Their opinion, their thoughts that probably are only being said out of anger, bitterness, resentment, pain, whatever their case may be, just like I've done so many times before and can't take back. Why do we put so much weight on those things that are weightless? They mean nothing. Nothing at all. They don't change our lives. They might plant a seed in someone's brain that hears it, and it could affect our reputation, sure. But big picture, our own actions and behaviors and words spoken and things that we do, the way that we treat other people, speaks for itself. Way, 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 way louder than any words ever can, especially out of people's mouths that don't mean jack diddly. So I had to get a grip on that, and I had to understand that whether I knew the people or not, you know, I am not easily offended unless it's somebody close to me in my life that I love. And then things have a tendency to affect me differently, because it does matter to me what they say or how they're acting, especially, I mean, it will affect me. They are directly in my life. So there were a lot of times something simple like if my ex was late, which I had an ex who was late a lot, just bad with keeping track of time, getting distracted, whatever the case may be. I pretty much could rely on the fact that he would lose track of time, be late, not show, forget something, and not let me know about it. My hair great. I don't even care. But not even contact me or be considerate as far as I saw it, because it's something that I would do. I have my phone handy. If something changes in my plan, there's no reason I can't say, oh, I had to stop for gas, I'm going to be another 10 minutes. Because I know that that person is sitting there waiting for me. And who likes doing that? Well, so this is one of my big pet peeves. And this ex was notorious for losing track of time. Before you know it, oh, I'll be there in 20 minutes and an hour's gone by, maybe an hour and a half, maybe I don't hear from him at all, maybe he really got sidetracked and 3, 4 hours later, he's rolling up like nothing ever happened. Like he forgot he told me he was going to call, all happy, all normal. And by now I'm boiling. This happened all the time. And I was always mad at him because he didn't behave or act or respond like me. I wanted him to be me. And that was my bad. How can I sit here and expect somebody to be me? It, when, anyway, so it took a really long time to realize that he never lied to me. He never showed me a person who he wasn't. He never changed. He was always him from the get-go. And I saw it. And for a long time, it was okay with me. I dealt with it. We didn't live together. There's a lot of certain things, but then once you do live together and once your lives totally merge and everything they do affects you, but now I became a little manic about it, and I became pretty overbearing and often rude, I'm sure. And there were a lot of times that I didn't get the responses I wanted because I didn't deserve it. I wasn't treating others with the respect that they deserved, or really watching my tone or picking my words carefully. Like however it came out of my mouth, because that was how I felt, and it was genuine and it was legit. And right now, why should I pick and choose words and walk on eggshells and be all careful not to offend when I am seriously offended and I should be able to share this? So it goes both ways, and there are two sides to every story. But the bottom line is, even if I did have a valid reason to be upset or bothered or feel blown off and maybe question my worth to this person and wonder, what am I even doing here? That's still all on me, and I didn't have to throw my precious time and energy, which there isn't a whole heck of a lot of in this life, really. I'm almost 40 years old. I can't fathom how that has happened. I feel 25. So, anyway, I just want to be honest with you. I have had to take a lot of accountability for a lot of mistakes I've made, and just that's not always easy, but let me tell you, once you start to walk that path of wanting to ask forgiveness and therefore forgiving others, because you start to really understand the back end of it and why these things are even happening in the first place, the weight starts to lift, and there comes in a peace and an understanding of human nature that we just never had a grasp of before. I have a grasp of that, and I'll never go back, because that lifestyle is seriously just hell. Living death. I was angry constantly. I woke up carrying grudges and being annoyed and wanting to, how can I really make him understand how I'm feeling? Do I be silent today? Do I go ahead and write a big long letter? Do I go ahead? I was always in my head about it, and so wrapped up in my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own wants, that I wasn't noticing all the other things that were really important. And I was just backwards on so many levels. And I say and a lot, but there's a lot of ands, because this is just kind of a never-ending thing, and I could go on and on and on. The mistakes I made are heavy. I have hurt people emotionally and physically. A different ex-boyfriend many years back, I almost took out with my car. I was pedal to the metal on a dirt road heading straight for him, and last minute thought better and swerved hit his truck instead. Didn't total the car, but I wrecked my car. There was alcohol involved. I'm not proud. I'm not proud. It was a really tough time in my life. I didn't understand a lot of things. I wasn't taught how to be in relationships. I wasn't taught how to control my thoughts and my own actions. I was not taught to master my own conduct. I pretty much picked up in all my influences throughout my childhood and early adulthood life to not give a crap. I had a bad attitude and I was kind of proud of it. I had been fairly oppressed in my marriage and had lost my ability to speak up for myself. I was easier to kind of just shut down and not even bother. Everything's an argument. I kind of buried down deep all of my thoughts and emotions, and I remember sitting there many nights watching sitcoms and such primetime shows and not laughing, not having any emotion whatsoever for a few years in a row prior to my divorce. And that's a whole different story. But what I'm getting at is that coming out of that, I came full circle, and then I flew to the other end of the spectrum and was like, this is who I am. I found Tara again. I have resurrected her, who she is, fundamentally, authentically. This is me, unapologetically. I will not compromise who I am, what I feel anymore. And then I met this ex that I speak of that I almost took out with my car. And he was not a good fit for me. I still didn't have a clear enough understanding of what I needed as a person from the partner that I was going to have by my side in my life. And I did a poor job picking partners for myself for some years there. And there were 2 serious relationships after my divorce that have had massive impact on my life and brought me to where I am now, none of which I would ever change or take back at all. I was just having a discussion about this with someone the other day and said the only thing that I would ever take back in my life to be able to change and do better at, go back and fix, would be financially. I wouldn't have gotten the credit cards and spent free money for years and racked them up and the interest rates, and then they follow you and they haunt you, and then before you know it, there are lawsuits and they want their money. So they sued me. That dings my credit so bad. I have had a vehicle repoed back in 2012, I believe, that I'm still paying off. There's just a lot of things, a lot of mistakes that I made that at the time seemed like good ideas. I didn't fully understand the consequences of it. Again, these things aren't necessarily taught to us. We don't sit down and get instruction about how to do life properly. And that's nothing on my parents at all. A lot of parents kind of skip this step. There are a lot of things that I know I could have taught my kids that I missed out on, or that I just didn't think about, or that maybe an opportunity didn't present itself in our circumstances. There's just so many variables, and I'm not going to be hard on myself about it. There has to be a certain amount of grace. I really did try to be the best mom I could be, and they were never in danger. They had everything that they ever needed. My relationships weren't that great, and my mood wasn't always that great, but I loved them with all my heart. I'm sure, again, they were aware of things, yes, but they weren't highly affected. At any rate, you know what? It's one of those things that as they've gotten older, I have asked them questions because I wonder, and there's a lot of things that I've carried with me that they don't even remember. And it's kind of like, oh, well, that's been wasted energy that I have kind of had such maybe guilt or horrible feelings about, or whatever the case may be, because the years have been tough and a lot has gone on. Oops, I forgot about my face mask. Um, so I've wondered, and yeah, again, like I said, they have their outlooks and their thoughts and their different things, and it's interesting as they come into adulthood and into their own, and having these conversations and kind of reminiscing back and seeing things from their perspective. So anyway, again, I just wanted to come at you today with a little bit more perspective about who I am, where I come from as far as transformation from that woman to who I am now, which is somebody who sees the world that we live in for what it is. And I haven't mentioned my faith much, or God, or Satan in this video up to this point, but ultimately that is what everything is about. It's spiritual warfare around us all the time. All those things with those exes, or my issues that I had, and stuff that I've had to figure out and work through, those were all sort of tests that I was faced with. And how are you going to respond? How are you going to do on your test, Tara? And I did not do very well. It was the lessons after the tests that really brought things into perspective for me and clarified so much. That is that all the things that I think are inconveniences or betrayals or pains, hurts, hang-ups, all the negatives in life, that was Satan presenting me with the temptation to react the way that I did, make decisions that aren't the smartest for myself or those around me, because, well, that's going to distract me from living my whole authentic life and fulfilling my mission that I was put on this earth to do, which is love and serve others to the best of the ability that I have with my own individual skills that I've been blessed with. I've been distracted from it in so many ways for so many years. And that has changed. Now, in these last 5 years, I hit a rock bottom. I bounced back and started seeing so many things clearly, because I could not keep living like that. And everything has changed and continues to keep improving day by day. I'm growing, I'm learning, I am making the most of this life instead of just kind of trudging through it and letting it happen to me, because I'm just not taking control and taking full responsibility for what is happening that I should be and I can be. And so I have begun to. And here we are now today. I have discovered many solutions to keep my conduct in check. We all could use some conduct mastery, and I'm here. I'm here for you. I have just come to a point in my life where I am so centered on self-care rather than self-centered in caring only about me. And so by being centered in self-care, that means setting my boundaries that I need so that the people in my life that I do choose to have in my life aren't the antagonistic type maybe that I was choosing before, or that my behaviors and my boundaries are setting the standard for what I expect. And by keeping those boundaries, I have found that the people who remain in my life adhere to that, and our relationships have kind of flourished, even because it's a nurturing factor where both people have an understanding of what this is, how to act, how to talk, how to behave, certain things. And until then, when you are just endlessly taking whatever it may be from those around you, you can't expect that you're going to have any peace in your heart. You're going to keep feeling like this. So it starts with you being centered on self-care and knowing you, taking care of you, doing what you need to do to set yourself up for successful relationships in your life by attracting the people that will respect those boundaries and follow your lead into your life. That's the whole trick. You build your life. So whatever it is at this moment is something that you have built. How did that happen? What decisions did you make that have brought you to this point in surrounding yourself with what you're surrounded with? Are you happy with that? Are you content? Does this fulfill you? Is this how you want to live for the rest of your life? What decisions? Bear, don't growl at her. Doggy. What decisions can you make differently that will set your path on a totally different trajectory and alter the path that you've been on for how many years? Are you in the same boat as I am, where you have spent all this time so misguided and so looking at things backward, wrong perspective, big time? Center yourself on some self-care and know what you want, know what your goals are, and then just start vocalizing that to everybody around you unapologetically. This is who I am. This is what I need. I don't want my phone to ring after 9 o'clock at night. I want to rest. I don't want to go to the bar this weekend. Doesn't make me feel good. I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to feed that garbage into my body. I want to be healthier. Like, whatever the case may be, stand up for that. Quit just going with the flow and doing things because other people are. Pay attention to the decisions that you're making and the serious effects that they're having on your life. That's where it starts. So, flawed and honest, I have screwed a lot of things up, but it has taught me everything I need to know to bring me to the right place and hopefully help you do the same. Or anybody you know that could use this sort of guidance, this sort of coaching. Conduct mastery is a skill that many choose not to implement or practice in their life. And one of the things I think back to often is my language and the fact that I swore like a sailor. Probably every sentence I spoke had some sort of vulgar swear word inserted into it. And I didn't care at all. Nope. My kid was out, whatever I needed. Get the F back here. If I was in that sort of mood, it was a statement that I was making, and everybody knew that I was in that sort of mood. And I had some pride in that. Like, look at me, I'm a strong woman. I don't know. I'm not proud of it. See, I had pride, but I'm not proud. Pride and ego, they're not going to get you far. They're really not. They're going to get you some regret, some bad behavior, some... anyway, I don't want to get off on that tangent. We can do that a different time. So take a minute and think real good what it is that you need for you that you're not actually getting at this moment. And how can you start to communicate to those around you in your life that this is something that needs to happen, needs to change for your benefit, and start putting that into practice. If you have any questions, please reach out. I hope that you click to subscribe and follow, like, comment, share. You never know if this message could bless somebody else, and that's what we want. We just want to bless bless and be blessed. And I hope that this message touched you a little bit, and maybe you will take a little peek into your own conduct and also set those boundaries so that the conduct of those around you improves, therefore helping to improve yours along the way. It's a real thing. I will talk to you soon. I look forward to maybe connecting with some of you, and until then, Flawed